Welcome to JasonWhiskyWise. My name is Jason. Welcome to this whiskey review, where today here on the channel, we're going to be covering two whiskies from Campbelltown. So this is actually going to be something that I've been wanting to cover for over a year now here on the channel, but I haven't had the opportunity. And finally last year, when I visited Campbelltown, I got to pick up both of these whiskies, and I got some really good prices, at the same time a really great experience, which I need to share with you here on the channel. So, the whiskey we're going to cover today is the Kilkerran 8-year-old Cask Strength, and it's part of a little range that Kilkerran from the Glengyle distillery has. They've got the 8-year-old Cask Strength and a 12-year-old, and then they've also got their work in progress range, as it's kind of a new distillery on the range. It used to be a distillery way back, it then closed, and then in order to keep the Campbelltown region as a whiskey producing region, they had to have a third distillery, and then the Springbank family, Springbank company, J&A Mitchell, went and picked this one up as it's effectively in their back garden, made it active again, and now you have the Kilkerran whiskey. So I'll cover a little bit, maybe more history throughout this video, maybe into the 12-year-old video, but let's get into this video in itself. So this is the Kilkerran 8-year-old Cask Strength. When I was in actual Campbelltown, people were so kind there. I picked up this bottle and also the 12-year-old, and the people in the Cannon Head shop said to me, well, you know, if you've not tried this yet, we'll send you a sample so you can try it on your drive or on your way home, because I wasn't driving, my friends were. But sadly, I had almost 14 bottles of whiskey and maybe more than 20-something plus samples, so I didn't get a chance to try this. So I thought, you know what, we'll try it here on the channel and we'll review it for you guys here. So I'll pour that all out. Let's get into it. I'm excited because I really love Campbelltown. There's something really just special about that region, and I'll leave that over there. So this is the Kilkerran 8-year-old. It's bottled at 56.2% ABV. This is from the exact same bottle that I picked up out there. This is 100% bourbon oak cask, to what I've been told, according to people that worked over there. And the distillery itself is the Glengyle distillery. They're owned by the parent company, J&A Mitchell & Co. They're the same people that own Springbank, or Longrow and Hazelburn. And they're located in the region of the Campbelltown region of Scotland. Now, the price point of this bottle, I paid £50. It was £49. I think some people have told me you can get it a bit cheaper, but it was one of the last two in the shop, so I just had to pick those up as it was one that I heard really good things. I wanted to try it for myself. Now, is it exclusive? Yes, it is. It is limited to 9,000 bottles, so every year they'll produce 9,000 bottles of this stuff. 9,000 of this, and I believe 9,000 of the 12, and then you'll see another batch coming out the following year, or they do 2 batches every year, like what they do at Springbank. So, without further ado, let's get straight into the whiskey. Even Mr. Bananas has been to Campbelltown. I took him there. You guys might see a picture up here in the top corner. He had to visit Campbelltown. It's just such an incredible region. But let's jump into the nose of this whiskey. Into the nose. It is quite ABV forward. The ABV does really just make itself very well known on the nose. But giving it some time in the glass, let it subside a little bit. And then you start to see this icing sugar note. It's almost like a vanilla cream crown pastry, where you've got hints of this lovely fluffy pastry, this vanilla custard in the middle, dusted with a bit of icing sugar. Then you get, I'm getting like a citrus, like a blood orange, it's quite intense. And there's a soft, gentle smoke, and I really am intrigued by this one because it reminds me of like when you're painting, you know, wood fence. It's like a wood fence or resin, but it's got a little smoky character as well, as if you've just done a fire next to a wood fence. There is a lovely caramel sweetness just holding off behind that, and then that makes way for this like a light white peppery note, aniseed. Oh, God, this is really interesting. I'm getting like blue Stilton on this one on the nose, a creamy blue Stilton cheese. Here's the first time I've got cheese on a whiskey, but it's in an interesting, nice way. Not, you know, a potent, really uncomfortable way. I don't know if it's a Scotch Test Dummies. I did a video last week with a live stream called Mac and Cheese, but I'm getting a blue Stilton because I tried that earlier in the week. Wow, really interesting stuff. Let's get into the palate notes, into the palate. Slanger, guys. Arrival onto the palate, you do get this really heavy, briny character coming through. Not any of that Campbelltown funk that I really love in my Campbelltown whiskies, but it's a lot of briny, sort of salty water characters. Lemon juice, lemon pith, adding that slight little bit of a bitter dimension to it. As you carry on further, you get these sour green apples. And I'm getting a little bit of like a chewy, malty, almost like an oat cake, as if you've sort of been chewing on oat cakes. You really just sort of flash back to that. As you give that some time on the palate now, it does develop a slight sweeter presence. I wouldn't like to say a sugared malt, but maybe sugared biscuits, where you've got a nice glazing of icing sugar over the tops of some biscuits. And then I go back to those fruits, and it's green fruit specifically, these really fresh green, sliced green pears, but with a bit of their skins on top of that as well. So it's maybe a little bit of a slight bitter tannin quality coming through from the skins. Not tannins, like a little bit of a bitter character, to be honest. I don't know, I was expecting it to probably be a bit more fruitier, but that really comes through, and just a hint of gooseberries on the end as well. Very interesting whiskey overall. Let's get into my notes on the finish, and then we'll come to my conclusion on the Kilkerran 8-year-old. So now to conclude the Kilkerran 8-year-old, in terms of the finishing notes, I do get this really interesting, it's like a crackle of white pepper as it sort of develops on the palate. It becomes a little bit warmer, and that holds itself out on the finish. You get a nice sweeter vanilla custardy character as well, but that heat really does remain on the finish for some time, giving maybe a medium long finish. However, that heat and the spice is really holding itself quite strong, and probably needs a few drops of water just to mellow it out. However, that's going to leave me to give my rating and my conclusion, and that's getting an 84 out of 100. I personally feel it's a little bit hot. It needs to have that little bit of, I think a little extra time just to let it breathe out a little bit more. I'm going to add a few drops of water to this one, as that's what I found best when exploring this one when I've tried it before in different times. As just having a few drops of water reduces that heat and really allows you to sit with the whiskey much more, because right now I can feel it literally going through my throat and literally sort of having like a backlash effect. However, I really wanted to give this a little bit more, being a cask strength Campbelltown. However, I just feel it's a little bit hot. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Have you tried the Kilkerran 8-year-old cask strength, and what's your opinions on that? So, I'm going to leave the video at that. If you guys have enjoyed, again, drop it a thumbs up. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, which I'll leave over there. And I'll leave the Kilkerran 12-year-old video somewhere up here on the screen. But this has been me, JasonWhiskyWise, Mr. Bananas, and we'll catch you for the next video. Slanger.